Hello, ladies. Welcome back to another episode of Unloaded Uncovered Podcast with me, your host, Magda Desir. Today I have Tanir. Hey, Tanir.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm blessed. I can't complain. How are you?
I'm good. So, you said you're good. How is life right now?
Life right now is really good, Magda. Thanks for asking. Definitely in the space right now where I can actually say I'm reaching a point where I'm at happiness.
I love to hear it. So, talk about that. You're at a point where you're reaching happiness, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, how did you get there?
So earlier this year, I was battling with a lot of things, depression, alcoholism, which led me to making a choice to begin a healing journey. So last year, a little quick background. Last year, I used to be on a streaming app. We're not gonna shout them out because they're not paying me for sponsorship. So I used to be on that all the time, and I found that was beginning to be a big problem. Now I was on it in 2020 during the pandemic. That's when I officially was on there, and I was drinking a lot and everything and entertaining people and all types of stuff. Fast forward, left in 2021, came back in 2023. And when I came back in 2023, it got even worse. I started picking up on drinking all the time. I mean, big bottles of liquor every day. I was going live every day, anywhere between 4 to 12 hours. 4 to 12 hours. Sitting in front of a phone.
During the pandemic?
During the pandemic, and when I came back in 2023, it got worse. So I didn't realize, depression had crept up on me, but it was a couple factors that caused my depression. The first was the people who I had around me and who I allowed to be around me in my space and the energy. I was falling into the follower situation where people were doing things to entertain other people, and I followed suit. I knew better, right? But you're talking to people coming in your room when you're live, everybody turning up, everybody choosing what it is that they do, whether they drink, smoke, or whatever. And I found myself spending a lot of money on that app, buying alcohol, making sure I look cute, and you only could see this much of me, and I still was buying outfits and doing all types of crazy stuff. So fast forward, I reached my breaking point where I started to really notice in October of 2023. I backed out of designing sneakers. I was not touching sneakers anymore. And if anybody know me, I was a sneaker customizer for 2 years, and I just lost the flame. So I stopped doing sneakers. I had entered into a sneaker contest July of that year and didn't think that they were going to pick me for anything. I just was like, okay, I'm gonna fill it out and see what happens. Ended up being picked to be in a running for the sneaker customizer contest. So if you won, you would have got $10,000. You would have got flown out to LA, and you would have been able to work with one of the biggest sneaker designers. His name is Shoe Surgeon on Instagram, and I was in the top 20 out of 1,000 people. It was insane.
Wow. So you got skills. I've seen some of your videos. You had skills. You got some raw skills. Okay, go ahead, girl. I'm sorry to cut you off, but go ahead.
Oh, you're good. So I got picked. They emailed me, and then I had to get people to vote for me. So on that app that I mentioned, I started having people vote for me. What other people did, because I wasn't really big on networking, right? I can talk to you once I'm cool with you, whatever, we can have a conversation, but just networking on the business side, not so much. So people were voting for me, and people were paying for votes. You can choose which one you wanted to do, and I ended up being number 2 in the running, right? I didn't win, but I came up as number 2, which I was proud of. But by that time, October to December, because that's how long the contest was, I was blacking out from drinking. I was sleeping all day till about 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I was definitely neglecting my kids, you know what I'm saying? Because I was making sure they had food and stuff, but I wasn't spending that quality time with them. I had disassociated. I just, as soon as I get up, take a shower, brush my teeth, back on that app. You know what I mean? So I reached my like final breaking point January of 2024, and it was just like me looking at how much money I spent, how much I was drinking, what was happening. I had gained the most weight ever. I was just like really sick, and I didn't realize it until I just kind of like had to sit down, because depression, sometimes you don't even feel that, you don't even know until you look around, right? You're like, hold on, you're just like, I don't want to do this today, I don't want to get up today, I don't want, and you got to get your behind up. So January, I was just like, I'm leaving everything. I'm leaving that app. I'm deleting it for good. I'm walking away from Instagram. I left Instagram for a month.
Really?
I deactivated because when I left that app, the rumors started circulating that I took my life, right?
What?
Yeah. So somebody like made a fake profile and was like, she unalived herself. And
are you serious?
That took a toll on me. That took a really big toll.
Wait a minute. Okay. Well, I don't mean to cut you off, but people actually made a profile and spread a rumor that you unalived it. People are vicious. Social media is a place where, well, one, it's not real, but it has really consumed us as human beings to just think the worst of certain people. And sometimes the best of the best. I can't. They actually said you unalived yourself.
Yeah, and then it was just like people coming to me, because when you're on there, what you have to understand is that those people are not like your friends, right? You will never see them unless like it's a once in a blue where you can click with somebody and you'll see them in person, y'all link up, whatever. But it was people that
they keyword thugs. The keyboard thugs. They keyboard thugs.
My stream. They'll come in my stream, show me love, come in there, chill with me for the hours, get drunk with me, all that stuff. But when that rumor was going around, it was a lesson that I had to learn. That was the most eye-opening time for me, and I needed to learn right then and there that this is just an app. This is as far as it's going to go. So when they were screenshotting and sending me stuff in the DMs, I'm a person that's like thinking of every question, because I'm like, why would you send that to me? What made you like want to message me that? So it was just a lot going on, and I didn't even really get to address it, because I'm a person that's like, if you want to believe what you want to believe, you go ahead and believe what you want to believe. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna like sit here and explain anything to you, right? Anybody who knows me knows I would never do that ever. Oh girl, I left Instagram, deactivated. Right after that, that was like, bye, I'm out. And I left for 3 weeks. And then February, I came back, but I started spending some time with my kids, and I took them to the beach in Ocean City. I don't live far from Ocean City, Maryland. And right then and there, I like made a vow, because it was either I was gonna come back to social media for good and take it serious, or I was coming back to social media to delete it.
For good.
That's how irked I was, right? So I said, okay, I'm gonna come back, and this is the vow I said to myself: if I come back and I'm posting and people are engaging, and I make it what I want and it works out, I'm going to stay. If it's not, I'm leaving. So I came back, and I talked about this in my YouTube video. You guys can check out. I'll shout it out at the end. But I came back, and I was so disgusted with myself. I could not identify who I was looking at in my videos anymore. It was like I posted this. Like, why would I post this? Like, why? What would make me want to post something so like promiscuous, flirty, lustful? What would make me post something like this? Drinking out of the bottles and turning up. Like, what is making me put this out there? And it was just like I was looking at an unfamiliar person, right? So I was trying to disassociate with who I once was, and right then and there, that's when the healing journey was just like, it clicked. It was like, you need this. I felt like it was God just telling me, like, I'm giving you this so you can take this and what you about to do with it, So I deleted everything off my page except for 2 posts. I changed my bio, I changed my pictures, because everything was just like disgusting to me, you know what I'm saying? And then I deleted and blocked 150 plus people on Instagram, and most of them came from that app. Yes.
I will say congratulations to that, because I recorded recently I haven't put it out yet, but I recorded an episode stating that someone I know had shared something on Facebook about how they just felt lonely. Right?
Yeah.
And I sent them a message, and I spoke on the message that I sent to them. I didn't talk about what they said, or I didn't, read what they said, because I didn't have permission. The only thing I could do was just, talk about what I sent them. And as you were talking, about how you were looking at yourself, and you were disgusted by yourself, and you just didn't know who that person was, I'm automatically, I went to the episode I recorded to the disassociation that we have with ourselves when we're growing. It's like an outer body experience. You know what I'm saying? Like you can see what is happening. It's like your soul or your spirit is like standing outside of everything, but your body is still there, and your spirit is observing what's going on. And it's kind of like you're just realizing, like, this situation, what's going on right now, this ain't me. This ain't my higher self. This is not what God wants me to be. And I'm proud of you to actually take that moment and realize that, because it's something that you did a 180. You know what I mean? And not a lot of people, and I always tell y'all, celebrate those small wins. It doesn't matter if it's major to somebody else, major to you. You need to celebrate that, and you need to big that up, and you need to talk about that a lot, because a lot of us, we don't talk about how we were at our lowest,
right?
And how we felt embarrassed, and how we're like, oh my God, I can't believe I would do something like that. But at the same time, you gave yourself grace. You understood what was going on. You wasn't paying attention to your children as often. You know what you were doing. You were causing damage to your body. And you and God had that come to Jesus moment, like, sis, get your shit together. You got one more shot to do this. What are you going to do? And I'm proud of you for realizing that, and taking the time and saying that, and being vulnerable about it too. I thank you for that. Thank you. Okay. Now that we got that out of the way. So when you had that moment at the beach, and you told God, like, listen, if I'm coming back, I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do it differently. What was and you talked about how you blocked people, deleted everything, most of the things in 2 posts you kept up.
Right.
What else was happening in that moment for you? You know what I'm saying? You were going through this transition. Besides doing everything you just mentioned, what else was going on?
It was a lot of crying. It was a lot of praying. It was a lot of pain. It was a lot of regret. It was a lot of, I felt like I wasted a lot of time. I really don't like wasting time, right? Nobody should. And I just would look back during that time and say, oh my gosh, like, I could have been doing this instead of this.
Yeah.
Sitting in front of a screen, entertaining people I don't know, that I probably would never meet in my life. Don't live nowhere near each other. And I am finding a way to get to the liquor store to buy. And I mean, they weren't like small little, nips. They were like big bottles, like you would have for like a party. And
a fifth? You was buying fifths and stuff?
I was buying big bottles, like, for myself. And I remember going, you know what, it's so crazy. I literally remember going to the liquor store and getting this cheap bottle of liquor. I can't remember the name. It was like Smirnoff vodka. They have flavored Smirnoff vodka instead of the wine coolers. And I brought the big one. It was like $11, right? And I was so much into a depression that I just didn't care if it was like, $20 or whatever. I was trying to get something that was going to get me drunk quick. So it didn't matter that it was $11. I drank half of it, and it kicks in this fast, right?
Wait, you drank half of that?
Yes, ma'am. And we'll sit here, have my music going, because, they didn't censor out if you played your music. You can play your music, people coming in, And on that app, they would drink for anything. They'll say they reached a certain milestone and got a certain amount of money, or diamonds. They call them diamonds, but it equates to money. You can cash out and stuff like that. So it would be like, take a shot, shots for this, shots for that. You want to turn up for your birthday. And that was another thing that it took a toll on me too, because when I was there in 2020, I had a fifth of Patron and I drank the whole bottle before it turned midnight, right? Now listen, I went live at 10 p.m. and they did like a big, like, my mom decorated behind me and everything. My backdrop was so pretty. She did my hair, she did my makeup. I had a nice outfit on. You would think I was going to the club or something. Had the crown and everything on. Went live at 10. By 10:15, I blacked out on the live.
I remember you talking about that. I watched one of your episodes and you talked about that. You blacked out on the live?
And at that time on that app, if someone called you, it would like end the live. But for some reason that night, I had a couple family members on there and they were trying to call my phone and it would not end the live. So people heard me like snoring. They could see me like my head down, for about an hour and a half. Yep. Yes, ma'am.
Oh my, I am so sorry.
No, this is
what?
Yeah. So, and you would think I had learned from that. I woke up, I was hungover. Don't know how I got from sitting in my little section that I was in to on the couch. Don't know how I got there. Don't even know. To the point it scared my daughter. My daughter was just like, I was scared, Ma. You were falling and stuff like that. Woke up, throwing up. My head is spinning. My eyes, the pain behind my eyes hurt so bad. I couldn't eat nothing. That nauseous feeling. And it was just terrible, And, when I got back on live that day, everybody was like, you were snoring, you were doing this, And I laughed it off.
You went back after
the next
that?
Day, I was so addicted to it. I went right back on there the next day. Because the next day was my actual birthday. And everybody was like, I couldn't even come in here and gift you or nothing. Because either you were blacked out, slumped, or you weren't even on, and your party was supposed to start at 11. So, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, now that all of that is in the past, thank you for sharing. But all of that is in the past.
Yes.
We gon' get into what you do, into your podcast, Her Stories Untold. How did you go from being on that app damn near 24/7, what you just described, blacked out day before your birthday, wow, and then having that coming to Jesus moment at the beach to Her Stories Untold podcast? How did that happen?
God is amazing, and God will use you, right? He will use you to
won't he do it?
Inspire somebody, and I always ask God to continue to use me as an instrument. Continue to speak through me so I can empower, inspire, motivate other people. So that's why I pour into people. But to answer your question, the moment I had with God at the beach was very sacred. It was just like, I got to leave that behind. But my past was making me walk into this next chapter. So the healing journey is never easy. I tell people it's a never ending thing. It's not like you do it for 3 months and you good. It's always, going. As much as you're going, it's going.
Yes.
So,
ongoing.
Today could be really, really good. Tomorrow I might be sad about something, but it's about how I'm moving forward. So journaling helped me a lot. Journaling and praying helped me so much, right? And crying. It's okay to let that go. Let that hurt go. Let the regret go. So I came back home that day and I got on Instagram. I did all the, they call it purging. So I went through it and I was like, block. I mean, I blocked so many people in one day. They had to tell me, you got to come back tomorrow because you done reached the limit for today. Okay. So I wasn't playing. So I was like, what's the first step I really got to do if I want people to take me serious? Because if somebody come to my profile and they see all the stuff I had on there before, they're going to be like, oh, she just doing what everybody else be doing, So I changed my profile picture, made it a professional picture. I changed my bio, made it a professional bio. I already was tapping into makeup October 2023. I was just playing with it, like, and I said I'm about to just start, doing little videos like that every now and then. And then April came. I started like attracting the right audience. People started seeing what I was putting out. A lot of networking was happening behind the scenes and stuff like that. I was talking to people and engaging. And April came, and I came across someone who followed me, and we support each other. She has a podcast, and she said something under my picture. She made a comment under my pictures, and I was like, "Oh, you be having like the podcast episodes live on Instagram." I missed it last week, but I'm going to make the next one. And if I tell you something, I'm a woman of my word. So she's like, "Oh, that's so nice." Da-da-da. So I came. The following week I came. And let me tell you how quick God worked when you are in alignment. So I watched her whole show, loved the whole vibe of her show. And I sat in there and commented and engaged the whole time. And I literally said to myself out loud, while looking at her show, I'm going to be on her show, and I'm going to be able to tell my story on her show. That's the next move. And I kid you not, 24 hours, not even 24 hours, I was coming out of the gym. I never forget, it was pouring raining. And I went in the grocery store. I came out the grocery store, and I had 2 DMs from her. She invited me to be on her show the following week. So that's how I was like, "Oh, God, you heard that. You heard that, right?" So, and that's when everything started like just coming. Like, so I did the interview. After I did the interview, we did like a little Q&A, which was dope. And then 2 weeks later, I just felt it in my spirit that I need to launch a podcast. I came to her and I told her first, because I just wanted to hear feedback. She's an honest person. She gave me pros and cons from her experience, and I took the gems from what she was teaching me. And it was a lot about podcasts that I had no idea. I had to learn later, but she was just like, "Go for it, do it." And on that app, I would do motivational speaking. I talk a lot about that on my YouTube, okay, guys? But I'm not gonna go into that right now. But just a little bit. I did motivational speaking on there. Someone believed in me and told me I should do it, because I was able to help somebody that came in my stream who lost someone that day. I helped somebody feel better. I poured into them, and they just was like, "I'm so happy I found your live stream." Fast forward, God has brought that back to me. Motivation is part of my purpose. Motivational speaking. I pour into people. I don't gatekeep. I try to help people. If I see if I see anything, opportunities that's fit, I'm sending it to you, and I just feel like giving back. That's just necessary. So put out the information that I was launching my podcast June of 2024. I remember asking 15 women who support me on my Instagram, would they be guests? Had no idea what we was going to talk about. It could be about anything. You like to travel? We going to do a show about traveling,
Right.
Do a chef? We going to talk about that. So
Right.
How did you get your first 15 people so quick? It was people that, liked my content, and I just DM'd them and was like, "I'm about to start this podcast. This is it's about women empowerment. We can talk about whatever, because I had no idea. I was definitely walking into it kind of blind, but that was just the beginning of that.
That's wonderful. That's amazing. Yeah, because we connected on Threads.
Yes.
You kind of like posed a question, and then I don't know, I guess I got on Threads one day and I saw it and I just responded. Like, no, not for real. That's exactly what happened. I got on Threads and I saw it and I responded, and then boom, here we are.
Here we are. Shout out to Threads. Okay.
I know, right? Like lately, Threads has been like Threads is a little bit more authentic. A lot of people are connecting in different ways, whether it is relationships, whether it is dating, whether it is podcasting, whether it's business, connections, networking. People are connecting in an organic and authentic way on Threads. So people are moving away from whatever social media is right now, and they are connecting authentically, genuinely on Threads, and I love to see it. So that's great. That's a great segue from like what you were doing on that other app. That shall not be named. I know what app you're talking about because I saw that episode and I was like,
yes,
dang, it was that lit on that app, huh?
Yes.
From that app to now, when I heard your story, I was like, damn, I was lit as hell on that app.
It can be very
I didn't even
toxic,
know.
for sure.
I didn't even know that app still exists.
Yes, a lot of people
Or
don't.
was it new? I swear I thought it left.
Yeah, because I remember it from when it first started, and it didn't have no live streaming, okay?
No.
That came later. So
I was surprised that it was still around. When you said it, I'm like, I ain't heard that app in years. I think it was like early 2000s. That's what that app was like popping or something like that.
Yeah.
I was floored by your that story. Anyway, I'm still kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you talked about it, but to actually talk to you about it is a different thing. Right. Okay, so since the launch of your podcast and you interviewing so many different women, including myself, what is one of the things that has come out of it that you're like super proud of?
That's wow. Building a community of women to want to share their testimonies, that trust me to share their testimonies. And I tell you guys all the time, you guys have helped me with, my healing journey and things that I needed to learn from your stories. Each person I connected with, there's something that moved me, and I'm super grateful because this is all God's doing. You know what I'm saying? He aligned this. This is what He wanted. So I'm gonna still walk and do as He say until He said there's no more. But to be able to bring different ethnicities, races that's very diverse, together on one platform by myself. I did it by myself, and it was very hard. I was not a person who networked, but I activated Threads in July, and I was just like, I'm about to see what this is, and I just started like writing on there, like Twitter, started writing on there. And then one day I was just like, I'm gonna ask the question and just see. And the response was crazy. The responses was crazy. And I just tell people all the time, I didn't have no idea about podcasting equipment, nothing. I didn't even know what app I was going to do interviews on. And I remember writing down everybody's interview date on paper, what they were going to talk about, their name, their time, everything. And that's how I kept track of who was going to be. I didn't know nothing about no Calendar. Okay, I didn't know nothing about that.
It's okay. I knew about Calendly, but I didn't use it. You was like, Magda, get it together. I was like, you're right. I will.
Man, it's so much help, easier. You need to reschedule, it's right there, But yeah, that's how that happened. So I ended up not interviewing all 15 women from the beginning because I felt like it was more going into a different direction. So when I had my first interview with my guest came from that app, and we are really good friends. I consider her a sister. She had renal kidney failure, and she's a survivor. Her name was on the donor list, and she's doing really good by the grace of God. But she told her story, and once I put that story out, the reaction that I got back from it, it was like, this is the path I need to go. And I got confirmations about 3 times that day when that video was released. So I stayed on track with going that way.
Yes.
And it took off from there, Magda.
It did. I saw it in real time. It really did. It definitely took off. It really took off. Like, no, seriously, for real. Like, when we had our first one, and then unfortunately we had to reschedule, which is fine. It just took off. I was like, dang, she growing fast. I'm like, should I change my concept and just do women only? I literally was thinking that too. I'm like, should I change mine? I was like, nah. It's, there's always. I felt like, I'm not gonna lie, I felt like maybe I was slow. I was like, am I slow? Am I not talking the way that other people are talking? Am I not doing the same things that other people are doing?
Right.
How come, is it because I have too many men or too many certain race or too many this, too many that on my podcast? But then I thought about it, I'm like, I have my own lane. You know what I'm saying? So let me stick to this. Let me stick to what I know. But your growth was like impressive. I was like, dang. Rub that over here so I can see my growth too. The last question that I don't want to keep you long. The last question that I have for you is, what is one piece of advice that you would give out to my listeners and your listeners as well, because you will be sharing this on your platforms?
Right. One piece of advice I would give: remain true to you. Don't look at nobody else's grass. Focus on your own grass, because what happens if you tend to compare, you get discouraged. And what happens with when you get discouraged, you don't want to do anything. You don't want to set no foot forward because you're too busy trying to compare. You didn't even start. And if you are looking to start a podcast, you can start right now. Okay.
Yep.
Don't listen to all you need $3,000 worth of equipment. I did it with my iPhone when I first started. I didn't know nothing about the laptop. I didn't have a mic. I have one now, guys. Okay, we getting it together, but I didn't have it when I first started. Okay.
Yep.
And you got to know that nothing's going to be perfect. So you're gonna have technical difficulties sometimes, and you got to handle problems as it arises. Right.
Yep.
So these are things that I had to know. You also have to understand, you set the guidelines for what you want your podcast or your content to be. So the type of people you want on your platform is all, what you decide to choose.
This is true. Yes, this is very true.
Every woman that's been on my platform, I'm a people's person, so they click with me automatically. But I know what type of personalities and how to handle them, but you just got to know that for yourself and just get started.
That makes sense. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Getting started, technical difficulties will happen. Rescheduling, people not showing up, that stuff will happen. Finding your lane, finding your niche, learning how to talk to people, learning how to pose questions, learning how to grab the most pertinent and important information out of people when they're telling their stories is also like practicing journalism is going to be the main bulk of podcasting. It's a lot that comes into it. And just like you, I started on my phone, edited on the laptop. I didn't have a mic. I recently got a mic. Even though my light is not big, I got one. Like gradually you'll get the things that you need. Gradually you'll get the things that you see other people have, like the mics, and the bright lights, and the bomb decor in the back, and the lighting, and all this other stuff. It comes slowly, but eventually you'll get there. And staying in alignment is true. It's very, very true. My last guest also stated that too. She said at our lowest is when we kind of like that the light bulb comes on and we kind of know what we're supposed to do. That's when we're at our lowest, that's when we start to get into alignment with God. It's like God had to like literally let us quote unquote fall or fail for us to be like, okay, obviously what I'm doing is not working, so you take the steering wheel.
Right.
I'm gonna let you lead. Everybody has that, but everybody's not open and vulnerable enough to talk about it.
Right.
But I thank you for talking about it. I thank you for sharing that story, sharing that that moment that you felt you were very, very low and couldn't find your way out of. But you did it in a very graceful way. You did it in a very loving way towards yourself and your children, and you knew that ain't the Tanir I want out here.
No,
that ain't her. I got something else cooking up my sleeve. You know what I'm saying?
And if God wants you'll be surprised. You try to walk away from something that God wants you to do,
trust
He will bring it right
back.
Okay. I walked away from motivational speaking. I walked away from sneaker designing. I walked away from social media, and I became a hermit. But it was like I had to go through those phases in order to be where I am now. You can have a conversation with me and I'm not defensive now. You can have a conversation with me and I don't get in my feelings. I can take constructive criticism. I'm not hiding behind any pain. I'm talking about it. I'm writing about it. I'm praying about it, other than trying to drown it in alcohol, which don't do anything but bring it right back to the surface the next day, just for the record. Okay?
Or somebody throwing it in your face that was watching you. Try doing that shit that's when that be the child.
Oh yeah. So, I dealt with the worst. It's kind of like, what else could you do to me? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm reconstructed. I'm renewed. and I'm in a space now where I can say, like I said in the beginning, I'm happy, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't happy before. Just because somebody's smiling in pictures doesn't mean that they're happy. Just because someone is laughing doesn't mean that they're happy. Those are the people that you need to check on the most. Okay? Yeah, we always drop some gems in an interview somewhere, you know?
That part. Because even though, you know, I do my best to be as vulnerable and as authentic as I can on my page. So, and I, you know, by me sharing, like, I'm still trying to, there's certain things that I'm still working through. As you stated before, healing is an ongoing thing.
Yes.
And there's certain parts that I'm still healing from the childhood trauma. And I talk about it. And I've had people, like, not in the comments, but privately come to me was like, I thank you for talking about that because I didn't realize I was going through that. Or I thank you for saying something like that because I didn't realize that I related to that. And I think the more that we start talking about these things, you'll be surprised. The more we start talking about it.
A word. And boundaries are important, guys. I created boundaries, but I let people play in my face because I didn't stand on it. So having people around me that are happy that I'm drinking because it is making them feel better because they're going through things that they don't want to talk about. So by me, you know, joining a circle and drinking or whatever, I smoke too. I stopped smoking too.
Same.
But, you know, I needed to have a clear mind. I needed to switch up my circle because you're around 5 or 6 people that's negative, you're going to be the 7th one. If you're around 5 or 6 people that's, you know, broke, you're going to be the 7th one. Negative, you know, misery loves company, and I hate to sound cliche, but it's so true. So if I'm surrounded by people every day, this is all they do, they're getting on the app, they're spending money, they're drinking, they whatever, turning up, like, life is not really happening outside of that. What you think is going to happen, you're going to fall suit. It is not intentional. It's just because that's who you're hanging around. So it's me being accountable. I didn't hold myself accountable before. I had to take a lot of accountability and saying, okay, I'm choosing for these people to be around me. I'm choosing to do these things. I don't have to drink. I don't have to partake in that. So as soon as I disconnected from that, those people perished. They didn't want to be around me anymore. Why? Because I wasn't doing the things that they were doing. A lot of them see potential in me, and I didn't see the potential in me, right? But if I'm drinking my life away, how can I see that, right? But they want me to stay on that level, and I chose to step outside the box instead of being boxed in. So once I did that, God just, you know, he aligned me to exactly where I needed to be so I can be right here pouring into you guys. So, you know, if you're going through something, and don't let people use your past against you. Talk about it, okay? You can't use nothing against me that I already talked about.
Boom. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, Tanir, where can people find you? Drop them socials.
Absolutely. Instagram, I'm officially Tanir P, Tanir, the letter P. The Her Story Untold Studios podcast Instagram page is her with 2 R's, and the reason why I changed it, I'll tell you after, but it's HERR Story Untold Studios. You can find me on YouTube. I said Instagram already. You can find me on YouTube, Her Story Untold Studios, and you can find my other Instagram page I was trying to plug in, Makeup by Tanir, so you can check out my makeup. So I definitely got 3 pages. Make sure you guys tap in if you need any help, advice, if you're trying to get started with social media. If you want to be on the show, reach out to me.
Anything else? Are you going back to sneaker designing or no?
Oh yeah, that was gonna save the best for last. So
I'm sorry.
I am launching. Okay, friend. I am launching and revamping my sneaker designing business. It's going to be released in April. I haven't chose the date yet, but I will keep you guys, updated on what I got going on with that. I do tap into makeup a lot, so if you want to check that out, that's on YouTube and Instagram as well. I am doing a series right now called I Tried a Look, and we just taking inspiration pics and recreating them. So if you guys are interested in that, so yeah, we have a men's segment coming. It's called His Story. The men need to tell their story in November, so I will be interviewing men, and you guys get to hear things that they don't usually talk about, and you guys don't want to miss that. So yeah.
I definitely got to tap into that. Yes, Tanir, thank you so much for spending some time with me and telling your story and telling and promoting and bigging yourself up on everything that you're doing. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm here for people bigging themselves up no matter what they're doing, whether it's creative, whether it's business, whatever. Listen, what's for you is for you, what's for me was for me. You know what I'm saying? I don't take away from people's shine. I love it. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the episode. Thank y'all for tuning in and watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Also, don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram, Unloaded and Uncovered Podcast. And you can follow me on Instagram at @MagdaDesire_. All right, y'all. Have a great day. Talk to y'all later and see you next time. Bye.